I'm back here at Fairhaven Memorial Park in Santa Ana, California. I'm going to cover the grave and the tragic death of Debbi Stone. She was born 1956 and died July 8th, 1974, just 18 years old. She's the victim of a horrible, horrible tragic accident at Disneyland. Debbi is interred here just a few feet away from the famous Corrie ten Boom. Let me explain who Debbi Stone was. Debbi was a new employee at Disneyland in the summer of 1974. She had just graduated high school at the Santa Ana High School, and she got employed as a cast member at Disneyland. According to her high school records, she was an outstanding student, had an excellent GPA, was an athlete. She was known for her beauty, her kindness, and her love and sacrificing for others. She got hired that summer as a cast member at Disneyland, and she was assigned to the newly released, the new attraction, America Sings. It opened in Disneyland June 29th, 1974. America Sings. It's not in operation anymore. It was finally dismantled in 1988. But it got going in 1974. 9 days after America Sings opened, Debbi was the host. She was hosting the attraction. So she was the one that would have the Disneyland patrons come in. She'd say, please be seated, get comfortable, enjoy the show, etc., etc. And then they would run the attraction. Sad to say, that evening on July 8th, 1974, about 10:30 or 10:35 p.m., Debbi was crushed to death. She got trapped between two walls of the attraction. I have a small handmade chart here that I made. I'm going to show you how this happened. Okay, the ride was set up like this. As you can see, there's two concentric circles here. Sorry for my shadow. The sun is setting right now, but as you can see, there's two concentric circles. The larger circle is where the audience was. They were seated in that section of the larger circle. In the smaller circle was the smaller circle represents the stationary area. So there were animatronic robotic animals set up, and they were singing songs. The show started with a song from Burl Ives. He was the first animatronic animal. Now the audience and the yellow there represents the small area where Debbi Stone was standing as the hostess. On each stage, the bigger circle would rotate around the smaller one from stage to stage to stage to stage. And as the robots at each stage finished singing, they would rotate to the next stage. And the next stage, they were these animatronic animals were singing patriotic songs, America Sings. It would take about almost 25 minutes for the whole ride. It was very entertaining. Now, what happened was, when the ride was completed, for some reason, Debbi stepped into that very thin area between the stationary area where the stage was and the area that circulated around the stage. She stepped in between the two areas. It's a very, very, very thin opening, and a human being can't even fit in there. I mean, a human being would have to be as thin as paper to fit in there. Debbi stepped, for some unknown reason, she stepped in there, and the attraction moved to reset itself, and she was crushed to death. Patrons and cast members heard her screams. Some actually mistook it for being part of the act. I mean, your mind does funny things when you hear strange things. But other people knew that there was an emergency going on. She was crushed to death, and that's how she died. This happened, like I say, about 10:35 p.m. at night, and she was pronounced dead. About 2 in the morning, her parents got a call. Police came to their house. They informed them what had happened. Disneyland, I mean, the family was crushed. It was a horrible shock. It sent reverberations throughout the Disney company. They shut the ride down for 3 days in order to fit it with a better safety measure so that didn't happen again. The parents did sue Disneyland. They got a small settlement. I don't know what it was. I'm not clear. It's possible that it was never divulged publicly. So as I say, the ride was reopened 3 days later. They finally dismantled it in 1988. But folks, accidents happen. Horrible things can happen to good people. The good news is that Debbi, from what I read, was a believer in God. She was dedicated to the Lord. So I choose to believe that she's in heaven right now. She's in a good place. It's just a tragedy she had to die this way. She had a bright future ahead of her, and she had just gotten engaged. At 18 years of age, she had just gotten engaged. So there were a lot of people that lost when Debbi had this unfortunate accident. But folks, this goes to show us good things happen to good people, just like they happen to bad people. You should live every day as if it's your last. And every day that you call today, you should understand that you may not have tomorrow. Always, always, always be right with God, like I believe Debbi was. So rest in peace, Miss Debbi.